Thank you for joining the Hallowed Chambers. And my guest today is an honorable member of the House of Representatives. His name is Honourable Ojema Ojutu, and he is the chairman of the House Committee on Inland Waterways. Thank you for joining us on the program this evening, Honourable.
Thank you so very much. Happy to be here today.
All right. Well, let's begin with the very present issue, which is the security situation in your state, Benue State, particularly Yelwata. We have seen a bit of calm being restored to Benue State. But tell us generally, what's the security situation like right now in your state?
Well, thank you so very much. It's true that there was a very terrible situation. People were killed, and there were several agitation. And you could recall that I was in this station 3 different occasions prior to the attack in Yelwata. And we vehemently called on the federal government to see how they can intervene in the security situation in Benue State. I was also particular about the case of Apagatu Federal Constituency, where I represent. And after a series of call and agitation on federal government, of course, eventually the terrible attack took place. I don't think anybody want to be talking about it because of the volume of life that were lost. You know, and of course, the president at that point in time, in his wisdom, suspended his journey and visited Benue State. And that happened for the first time in recent time, when a president would see a need to quickly pay such visit. And of course, when he came there, he spoke to the people, and the people also expressed their feeling. And for the first time, the president could make a very definite statement, gave directive that people that were involved in the incident should be apprehended. He also expressed his own dismay that despite the incessant killing, arrests were not made. And that statement that came out of him was a kind of a very strong statement. And I can tell you that after the visit, there was a relatively calm situation, and if not for anything, well, there was no cases of massive, killing as it were. But I can also tell you that that does not mean that since he left Benue State, the issue of insecurity has been totally, brought under control. I must also confess and commend the security personnel. I think what they want to hear was what the president told them. Sometimes these people are there, and when this situation gets to a certain level, we begin to ask them, they say nobody have directed them to do anything, and as security personnel, they work with directive and command and all that. So, but I think because of that directive by the president, we've been able to achieve some level of success. But then, I want to say that does not mean that we have been able to completely say that we are on top of the situation. But one thing that happened that gladdened my heart too was that after the president's visit, just at the course of this week, about 3 other police command has been created. One is at Daudu in Guma local government, and another one is at Naka. Okay. And of course, there's also a police division that was also created in Okokolo. Of course, I did a follow-up on that, and the people, the community made a request. I took it up, and that also happened.
The people of Benue State, particularly Yelwata, do they share these same sentiments? Do they feel a sense of hope in terms of security? Do they feel safe now with all these interventions being made by the president and security agencies?
You see, like I told you earlier, there is nobody as it is. There's high level of fear, and I can tell you that the level of killing that took place in that place, You know, life is one, and there's no human being, as I say in my place, that when a particular animal, maybe like a cat or a certain animal, kill your father, and then you see something that look like that animal, the fear will already be there. So there's no way you can say that they have absolute, confidence that all is well. But what is very clear is that the present situation, what we are seeing today, the fact that government is taking that move, and this structure facility are being put in place, and more personnel is going to be mobilized to that site, shows clearly that there's relatively, that's why I said relatively, there's hope,
Well, there's a particular, will I call it an allegation now, or a statement made by one of your colleagues recently that got the attentions of a lot of Nigerians, where he said, I'm speaking particularly about Honourable Ibrahim Usman, where he said to get your bills on the order paper, you need at least 1 or 3 million to settle each member of the House or the Senate. I would like to ask you, how true is it, and how much do you spend if you want to get a bill passed, or if you intend to get your motion on the order paper? How much does each lawmaker spend?
Thank you very much. I don't know, you see, I usually don't like commenting on what I don't even know the source, because most of the time you see people going about saying things, and when you meet the actual person they are alleged to have said that, the story may be different. But to the best of my knowledge, there's no amount of money that you need to spend to put your bill on paper. So, and I'm also aware that you don't need to pay any amount of money for you to have your motion and, listed in the order paper.
But your colleague was caught on video where he was telling his people that, to get your bills passed, you have to have you have to pay at least a certain amount of money to his colleagues to get that bill passed. And maybe that's why maybe trying to defend himself on why maybe he has less amount of bills passed.
But if
would that be the case?
I'll still repeat myself. I don't know the person, and I was not there when the statement was made. And I can tell you that, to the best of my knowledge, if you want your motion or your bill to be on the order paper, there is no amount of money. You don't need to pay a particular amount of money to get that done.
Well, let's speak about the ongoing constitution review process, particularly the reserved seats for women bill. What kind of attention are your colleagues giving this bill? Does it seem to be a receptive one? Do they seem welcoming to this idea? Well,
the idea is that there's actually two opinions. And one of the opinions is that women should be given special seats in the House. And some women are looking at that to be a way of treating the women as if they are disabled people, because by the time you begin to talk about special seat, there is already sounding like the capacity is not there. You are sounding as if they are disadvantaged. So somebody have to do something for them to be able to, and some of these arguments have been put up by some women, So, and of course, some people feel that yes, that can be done. So, but generally speaking, anything we do to encourage women in our democratic system is a welcome development, as far as I'm concerned.
And your colleagues share the same sentiments?
It is. I just told you now. Some women don't even believe that should be done. Like I have a colleague of mine, Chairman House Committee on NDDC, Sueno Ibori, and she believes that there's nothing a man can do that she cannot do. She believes in her capacity. So she doesn't believe that somebody should create a special, advantage for her.
So you're saying this bill is dead on arrival?
I've just told you there are two opinions. So people cannot be on the same page. Some persons are of opinion that, it shouldn't be. Some are of opinion that it should. Some women are even feeling there's no favor to them. You are trying to make it look as if they are inferior. So that is the two opinions. But I am saying that in my own opinion, I'm saying that on the general note, whatever we do to encourage our women to be active in our democratic system is a welcome development.
All right.
Yeah.
You're a member of the People's Democratic Party, but your party has faced significant crisis recently, and this has forced, members of the party, even lawmakers out of the party. I'm a bit curious. What is going to be your own political, are we going to see any political realignment on your part? Are you going to be jumping ship, or are you going to remain with the PDP?
Well, like you rightly say, I'm a member of PDP, elected under the platform of PDP. And like you know, the whole idea of political party is not a church. Political party is not a mosque. Political party is not like a family-based kind of a relationship. It's a place, it's an institution, association that you need to use to win election. And like I always tell people, politics is local. There are some places you go, the PDP can be fully on ground. And you know that with the prevailing circumstances at that particular point in time, you have capacity to win the election there, no matter what it is, then you have to be there. But if you notice that for some obvious reason, the party don't have the strength, what it takes for you to actualize your vision of winning the election, then definitely you begin to reconsider your position. So the choice of leaving political parties is a function of what is prevailing in your local environment. That is why they say politics is local. For instance, if you are from Kano, you know that you must follow the trend in Kano, which party is on ground. If you know that, you can even go to Benue, then you can go to a particular location. You look at the strength of the party that have acceptability and all of that. So the issue of which party to run election is a function of what is the level of the strength and the acceptability of that particular political party in that particular point in time that you want to run the election.
Well, if you take a look at Benue State, yeah. APC seems to be the ruling party in Benue State. So are you categorically saying that we're going to see you shift to the APC?
No, but I've just told you, when I say politics is local, Benue State is large. But when you go to a particular constituency, you also look at what is happening there. You know, you get my point. So what I'm saying clearly is that it depends on the prevailing, the acceptability, the strength, and the formidability of your political party within your locality. I'm representing Apagatu Federal Constituency.
Okay. Well, we'll still continue this conversation, but that will be right after this quick break. Don't go anywhere. We still have more for you on the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're glad to have you back. You're still watching the Hallowed Chambers, and with us in the studio is still Honourable Ojema Ojutu, and he has been speaking to us about the situation in Benue State and other matters pertaining to the National Assembly. Now, I'd like to ask you, we've seen a lot of coalition going on. Some members have shifted to the APC, some the ADC, and a lot of people believe that the ADC is presenting quite a bit of playing the opposition at this point, is the strongest force, according to some people at this point. Do you think that this ADC that so many people speak of stand a chance to snatch power from the APC in 2027?
Well, I would have preferred if you just say they stand the chances of snatching power, not necessarily from oh yeah, you are right when you say APC, because APC is the one holding the power at the center. So, but let me tell you, I've always taken my time to look at the composition. Who are the people who are actually pioneer the idea of ADC? Are they new faces? If you check very well, these are men Nigerians that at one point or the other had opportunity to be in power. Some of them happened to be in this power for a very long period of time. At the time that they were younger, stronger, more energetic, and they really could not, add serious value to this system. So the question is that if you are, for instance, if you're a footballer and you play football at the age of 27, play football at the age of 30, 35, and then when you get to maybe 40, then it looks as if you have reached the retirement age, and then you remember suddenly that you couldn't score more goals. Now you want to come back to the pitch again, and with the belief that is where you are going to do better. To me, that's how I look at it. Because these people have a lot of opportunity, and then they couldn't really tell us that they were able to. Is it that when they had the opportunity, they couldn't use it well? Or is it that there's something they couldn't do better at that time? So if people, personality are coming together, and majorly were people that had this opportunity before, and they begin to come that they want to unseat or they want to take power, a lot of people begin to ask questions. But you begin to see people, young, vibrant people who have never been given this opportunity before, and you want to see something different. So to me, I don't think the composition and the caliber of people that are coming together to form the ADC have any new story to tell Nigerians. So I'm afraid that they may not be able to do anything significant.
Well, as the chairman of the Inland Waterways, you have been very outspoken about ensuring safety of our waterways, particularly the both mishap that we've seen in recent times. Tell us, has there been any improvement so far with regards to that matter?
I think when you are talking about both mishap, you are in a better position to tell me whether there is any improvement. Do you know why? Why? Before my inception, before my emergence as the chairman of the House Committee, Inland Waterways, one of the trending news was the case, maybe this week, both mishap. The following week, you heard this one. The next month, you heard this one. I think that on occasion, you have reason to even invite me here to talk on some of those issues. But you agree with me that for quite some time now, you hardly hear such news of mishap. And this is even the pick up the rainy season and all of that. So that shows that we are factually making significant improvement in what used to be.
All right. Let's go back to the issue about Benue State and the security situation. Can you tell us at the moment, help us feel the pulse of the people that are in the state? If you walk on the streets, any random person, and you ask them, what do you actually need in the security situation or even the economic life of the state, what would be their response?
Let me talk from my own constituency this time around. I'm representing a Apagatu federal constituency, one of the most heated, one of the most affected constituency as far as the issue of insecurity is concerned. And as we speak, up to today, more than 35 communities have been sacked. The people are not able to go back to their farm. The level of hunger is something else. Some people are committing, they are taking, surviving by some kind of indulging themselves in some social vices. These are things that are not even known to our culture. So what I will tell you is that if you go to my constituency and you ask an average person on the street, they feel that government still have to do a lot for them. One, to assist them in rebuilding the destroyed homes, houses, building, properties, and all of that. The government need to put a security structure to give them that hope so that they should be able to go back to their various villages. And at the same time, they should be able to provide relief materials to enable them, at least at this point in time, be able to feed. And of course, the temporary shelter, now that they cannot access their community. As I speak with you, just yesterday, 4 persons were murdered. A woman was killed with a son, in a very, very, very terrible and horrible manner. People are living in fear. This happened in Ojema. It's a community under Ogule, which is a ward in Agatu local government. So that is the kind of thing we are living. But we are saying that there's a relative, what used to happen used to be more aggressive, used to be more vast, used to be more horrible. But what we are saying, that as we speak, killings have not stopped, people are not staying in their houses, and people are still moving without food.
That is all on the program today. Do not forget to follow TVC News on all social media handles to get the latest breaking news and updates. Thank you for watching. I am Tijesu Adeoye. See you next time.